After you and your wife received shocking results in this courtroom surrounding your daughter's paternity, you returned home and realized you have good reason to doubt your son, Keith's paternity. And now your marriage is on the rocks.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. McCrory, you claim your daughter's results surprised you, but you're confident your husband fathered your 3-year-old son, and you hope to prove it today. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
In your court papers, it says you all broke up for a few days around Keith's conception. Is that true?
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
You did?
Yes.
And so during that breakup, Ms. McCrory, did you sleep with anyone else? Were you intimate with anyone else?
Yes, I was.
Did you use protection?
No.
Had you ever told Mr. McCrory about this?
No, I didn't. Because I see it as that, why would I have to tell him if we're not together?
So you felt like we're broken
It's
up.
my business.
But when you get pregnant...
The bed wasn't even, like, cold. Like, it was, we just broke up. Like, I mean, if me and her, you know, if something happens to her and she dies today, I'm not gonna have a new woman in the bed 3 days later because, you know, to death do us part, you know? The thing was, I couldn't get a hold of her. I called her, and for 2 days she ignored me. Finally, I get a hold of her, and there's a guy in the background, and she's claiming it's her brother, but the whole time we're together, he never comes over, and he lives 2 blocks away. And then when I say that to her, she's like, oh, well, my friends are here. I gotta go. You know, we're just chilling, blah, blah, blah.
Interesting. So while you're taking that break or you're broken up, you admittedly slept with someone else.
Yes, I did.
Without protection.
Yes.
But during the pregnancy with Keith Jr., you never told him, even after the birth.
No, because I just 1,000% know that's his child right there. That's his kid. It's gonna come back. It's gonna come back. It's his child. You can tell. Look at.
And so you just felt like you didn't have to tell the whole truth because you were so certain Keith Jr. was.
And it's just, I feel that it's not, everyone's making it seem like it's cheating. I wasn't with him, it's not cheating.
No, we're past the cheating part. We're on the paternity part.
And Your Honor?
We're on the part where you find out you're pregnant and you slept with 2. No, we're not on the marital part.
Well, the fact is, it's his kid. 1,000% sure.
You're that certain?
Yes.
But you were also very certain when it came to Nevaeh. I remember this attitude. I don't forget. You acted just like this the last time you were in court about Nevaeh.
Yep, but it wasn't it.
And it was not.
No, it wasn't. People make mistakes. It's like.
They absolutely do.
They do.
And that's why we're asking you, in this instance, did you make any other mistakes? Were you in a position where you may not know who Keith's biological father is? I mean, Mr. McCrory is truly doubting you.
He didn't doubt it the whole time we were together. The whole time the kid's been born, he hasn't doubted that kid at all until this last case with Nevaeh. And then you're gonna bring it up?
Your Honor?
Why didn't he bring it up a long time ago?
See, I didn't.
Because he didn't know you cheated, right?
Right.
He didn't know you, let me rephrase. He didn't know you slept with someone else when you were broken up. Am I correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
And so now the marriage is on the rocks. You have absolutely no trust now.
Yes, I know.
He's not really one to talk. Well, it's like, how would I know what he was doing for the 4 days? He could have been doing something.
I never.
He was chatting with girls.
Well, you know what, Ms. McCrory, you're right. But if you haven't heard about any babies being born as a result
How do I know?
of it,
You know, you never know.
But I'm saying you wouldn't.
Not with him.
If you do, you're welcome to come back. But in this instance, we're talking about Keith Jr. I mean, that's why we're here.
My name's on the birth certificate. I have that with me here today.
You brought the birth certificate?
I got a copy of it.
Let me see that. Ron, can you hand it to me?
I mean, and I was excited when Keith was born. I've always wanted a son that I can give my last name to, that can share that bond of a junior, and that can pass that on to his son.
The truth is, because she did have unprotected sex with somebody else, it's possible that this little boy is not yours.
Yes, Your Honor.
And that's been eating away at you.
Yes, Your Honor. Going through all this, Your Honor, it made me kind of think about things like, I mean, there was a time and period.
I'm not sitting in here.
Miss McCrory, give yourself a minute and then come back in. Let's finish this case.
The other thing that makes me nervous is that the other possibility is still on her Facebook today.
So it concerns you that she's still in contact with this person?
Well, I'm gonna obviously be in contact with the person. I tried to tell him about it just in case it wasn't, but I know 1,000% sure he's the father and he's gonna look stupid.
So, Mr. McCrory, you asked Ms. McCrory to submit to a lie detector test. We have administered that lie detector test, and I have the results for you. Would you like to hear them?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ron, the envelope, please. These results were prepared by a licensed polygraph examiner. Before I read these results, Ms. McCrory, what do you expect that we will find out?
The truth. On it all. I'm not lying about anything.
Okay. Ms. McCrory, you were asked from 2013 until the present, have you slept with anyone other than one man you admitted to your husband? You admitted that you did.
Yeah, I did.
Who is that person?
To someone else. It was mistakes when I got together, so he shouldn't be over there shaking his head because he's no better.
All right. Ms. McCrory, you were then asked if you sent racy pictures to anyone other than your husband in the last 4 years. You admitted that you did. Ms. McCrory, you were asked if you had sexual intercourse with the other possible father of Keith Jr. other than the 2 times you previously admitted. You said no. The lie detector determined you were being deceptive.
What? What the heck is that?
Lying.
No, that's not. That don't make no sense.
So is there anything you'd like to add? Do you have anything you want to share? Do you want to share with your husband? Maybe something you haven't told him to let him know that you're trying to be truthful.
I am truthful. I've been truthful. Well, I mean, other than that lie, I'm not gonna. I mean, it's not. It's not really a lie, because it's like we weren't together. I mean, we got back together. Why should I have to tell him?
Maybe because the child he thinks is his child may not be?
No, I'm 1,000% sure it's his child.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. McCrory, you are the father.
Yeah, I told you so.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'm happy for you. You have a beautiful little boy. You have Nevaeh. And you're married. For better, for worse, this may be your worst. I want to talk to you all in my chambers. I do. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
Yes, Your Honor.
Meet me there. Court is adjourned. Well, I'm glad we were able to get closure and clarity on the paternity issue as it relates to Keith Jr. And we can move forward on that note. But there was yet another situation. You talked during the court case about this second gentleman, this other gentleman you thought could potentially be Nevaeh's father. Am I correct?
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yes, I can. I met Mr. Bowser through online, and then I invited him over, and then we ended up having sex. And then I just kind of talked to him here and there through Facebook, and then we lost touch because I moved.
All right. Now, we have done a paternity test on this gentleman, and we've also spoken with him.
I'm really hopeful that the test results will show that I'm not the father of baby Nevaeh. I don't really believe she's mine. I can't wait for the DNA results to come back and show that I'm telling the truth and she's lying.
Are you ready to hear the results?
Yes, I am.
I have them for you right here. These results, again, were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of McCrory versus Bowser, when it comes to 3-year-old Nevaeh McCrory, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Bowser is not her father. I'm very sorry. Mr. Lindsay, you say the plaintiff, Ms. Vaught, has committed paternity fraud. You claim she deceived you into believing that you fathered her daughter, but today plan to prove you are not her father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Additionally, you are countersuing for a lie detector test to determine the extent of Ms. Vaught's infidelities. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Vaught, well, the stakes are pretty high today.
Yes, they are, Your Honor.
Explain.
I wouldn't place a baby on someone that I didn't know, like didn't believe was her father. You get what I'm saying? I have 2 previous kids before him, and my children both have the same father. And if I felt in my heart that he wasn't the father, or if it was a second guess of him being a father, I would have told him from the door.
What was the nature of your relationship?
We were good. Like, he was my best friend at the beginning. Our relationship started going south because he felt like she wasn't his due to something hearsay.
What happened, Mr. Lindsay? She says you all were good friends. Were you in a relationship? Were you just dating, or were you committed?
No, we was good friends. We was in a relationship. Everything was going good. Today, I feel like she too friendly. She too friendly to me, man. She too friendly.
Too friendly?
Too friendly.
Everybody, her cousin,
Your
her
Honor,
brother.
he has a
it's
nerve.
Like that.
Oh, too friendly with different guys.
Exactly, Your Honor.
Okay. How long were you all seeing each other?
About 2.5 years.
2.5 years. Sleeping together without protection?
Yes, we were.
For
All
2.5
the
years?
All the time.
We was on and off for 2.5 years. She not telling the truth. We was on and off
No,
for
he
2.5
went away
years.
for 6 months of the 2.5 years.
And we still was on and off.
You have a calendar here, sir?
Yes,
Yes,
he
ma'am.
went over and above.
Show me what it is.
I never seen him play with a tablet for the sake of my life. But now he got a tablet all of a sudden.
You see where it say December and January? I was away. I wasn't. We live in different towns. I wasn't even in the same town.
You were
I
away
get
and
back
when?
February. She talked about she pregnant. How
He
did I
was
add up?
away in
Add the
December,
months.
if
I'm
December-
not.
So you're
I'm not that
saying
good at math. I'm not
if
a
you
math
count
person,
back
but
9 months,
I know better.
your contention is that she conceived somewhere in the December-ish area.
And New Year's Eve is December.
And you were away with your family out of town for 2 months.
Exactly.
And you didn't get back to town, and you all didn't get back together till February. So you feel
Exactly.
like the conception doesn't add up.
It doesn't add up.
I know my body. I know when I was pregnant. I'm not gonna lie to this man. At the end of the day, we were together New Year's Eve of 2014, bringing it in. I just got out of work, bought some alcohol, and I came home and we had passionate love making. So I don't
With
see
who?
how.
With
What you
who?
mean with who? Your Honor.
You assert that you all were together
Yes,
New Year's
Your-
Eve.
Yes, Your Honor.
And so that would have been December 31st. That would have been within the window of time.
Exactly.
And so, Mr. Lindsay, you're saying that's incorrect, that you were not with her?
I was not there. I don't know if she got me confused with somebody.
And you see,
but I
that's
was not
disrespectful
there.
right there. Because if we were
All right.
together 2.5 years, how could you open your mouth and say something like that?
And that hurts your
And
feelings.
it does, because I love this man, and he know I love him.
Ms. Vaught, you met with a licensed polygraph examiner.
Yes.
Before I read these lie detector results, what do you believe we will find out?
The truth?
The truth.
That's all it is. That's what the point of the test was for, to tell the truth.
Ms. Vaught, you were asked, did you have sexual contact with the man who sent you an Instagram message about which window to knock on? You said no. The lie detector determined you were being deceptive.
What does that mean? That I
mean,
was
you was
lying?
You were
lying.
not telling the truth.
I was lying?
That's what that means, deceptive.
Okay,
you was
Your
lying.
Honor.
Ms. Vaught, you were asked, did you have sexual contact with the man who sent you messages calling you sexy and boo? You said no. The lie detector determined you were being deceptive.
I know I didn't cheat on this man, because I feel like this, Your Honor. I give Shelby nothing but respect in everything, in every way. I don't treat this man no type of way. He feels like that because of
I got
something
the
somebody
results.
said.
I got no more to say. The
You got the results?
The results speak for itself. Unless you argue with the lie detector, man.
I feel like you're doing this because you wanted to make it seem like I'm this bad person to you.
You make it seem like that. I didn't take the lie
Mr.
detector
Lindsay,
test and fail.
Mr. Lindsay, but he won't submit to one. Why won't he submit to one?
I'm not certain that Mr. Lindsay would pass a lie detector test either, Ms. Vaught.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Listen.
Your Honor,
Thank
how
you,
you
Your
do that?
Honor.
So this petition he presented is basically a request to change Shelby's name if in fact she's not his biological child. He wants his name Lindsay off of the
Shelby
birth
too.
certificate.
Don't forget Shelby.
Okay, excuse me, Your Honor. Her name
Oh,
is
that's your name
Her
too.
middle name is Renee, right?
That-
Your Honor. Every female in his family has Renee as their middle name. So if you really felt like it wasn't your daughter, why would you give her that?
No matter what, if it ain't mine, I don't want her with my name.
I'm
If that's the case, we
110%.
could've
So
got
what
DNA
the
at
issue
hospital.
is-
They
if
ain't
that was
asked
the-
me.
Hold on. The issue is this. The issue is there's absolutely no trust.
Oh, from the
You don't
door.
believe anything he's saying.
I don't.
He don't believe anything
definitely
you're
don't.
saying. And the truth is, I want to know where you stand. She says she loved you. How do you feel, Mr. Lindsay? Are you willing to work on the relationship if, in fact, Shelby is your biological daughter? Or are you ready to walk away if she is not?
I want to raise my daughter with her mother at the end of the day. So if Shelby my daughter, we could attempt, but it's just, you know, we got to gain a little trust or something, because right now, it ain't working.
These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Vaught versus Lindsay, when it comes to 9-month-old Shelby Lindsay, it has been determined by this court, Mr. Lindsay, you are the father.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm so happy. Can I have that, please? Can I have that?
Oh, you want to put this up in the house?
Yep, I sure am.
You gonna put this on the refrigerator?
Every family member.
I can only imagine what it feels like. For 9 months, you have a beautiful baby, and people are questioning you, questioning the baby. The father won't be fully attached. Constant arguments. It is stressful enough having a new baby, but having a new baby with the stress of everyone doubting you and the father of the child denying that the child is his, that's a lot. You two obviously love one another, but you don't trust one another. Now, if you want to climb up out of that, you got to do the work. And that's getting back to the basics. The basics in relationship: communication, trust, respect, commitment. Ms. Winters, you say that you and Mr. Cawley have been together for 6 years, but now his paternity denial of your son, Amani, has put your relationship in jeopardy. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Cawley, you claim that throughout your relationship, Ms. Winters has been unfaithful, and say when today's results prove you are not Amani's father, the relationship is over. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So, Ms. Winters, you say your family is in jeopardy.
Yeah, lately all we've been doing, we argue all the time. We have a lot of insecurity issues.
A lot of insecurity?
Yeah, because of, the past.
But it's just resentment from the issues from the past, though.
Well, what kind of issues from the past? Explain.
Betrayal, me catching her in the bed with another guy.
Oh.
We were kind of broken up and having problems at the time. And before that, I had caught him talking to another girl. So.
Wait a minute, don't skip over that catching in the bed part. Mr. Cawley, tell me what happened. You said you caught her in the bed with somebody else.
Yes, Your Honor. Well, I was away, and the moment I got home, I was ready to just flop in the bed. I had been away for a minute, and I turned the corner, and I see both of them laying in the bed, and the guy was asleep, and she was laying there.
I was just dressed. We were dressed.
You had your clothes on, you said, but you were in the bed with a guy.
Yes. Well, he was a family friend, and he was spending the night there, and Michael was away. We were having problems at the time. And this was after I found out he was talking to another female, so at that point, I didn't even want to be with him.
But that's kind
Were you sleeping with this guy you were in the bed with?
I had prior to that, but I didn't that night.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying, Your Honor?
So now she's admitting to you she slept with this guy.
He only knows because I told him about it.
I believe the only reason she told me about that is to cover up the other things that she did, just to make it.
What are the other things she did?
Just rumors of guys being at the house, her hanging out with other guys and stuff like that.
I admitted at the time I was talking to other guys and stuff, but like I said at the time, a couple months before that, I had just found out he was with some girl. I just can't prove he cheated, and he won't be man enough to tell me he cheated, so I just kind of strung away from the relationship.
Because I didn't cheat.
Oh, the responsibility of raising 2 children and being in this relationship made you start thinking.
Yes, Your Honor, I was still there to take care of my responsibility, but I probably shouldn't have, the female friends that I had, I probably shouldn't have been talking to them as much with us having a place together. But that still don't have nothing to do with her taking it the whole next level and actually cheating on me.
But the girl he was actually caught talking with, when I found out he worked with her, I was like, don't talk to her. And then next thing I know, I'm finding out he's at her house, giving her rides. So, at that point, I was ready to break up with him.
And so after this incident, you all decided to break up?
We did for maybe a week or two.
But at some point, you come up pregnant.
Yeah, well, we ended up getting back together at the end of 2013, and we pretty much were like, look, we're either going to stay together and quit all this, or we're just going to break up. So we pretty much agreed to stay together.
We did make an agreement that we weren't going to mess around and do all that no more. And around the time that she said that she was pregnant with Amani, her family member told me that she was at the house with the guy that I asked her not to be.
Take me back to that moment. You find out you're pregnant.
I didn't even say nothing or tell him or nothing. I kind of just bought a test because I was late, you know. And when it came back positive, that's whenever I called him and I told him about it.
And to be honest, I was kind of happy whenever I found out that she was pregnant. And then her family member's spouse told me later on that she was at the house with this guy numerous times.
Oh, so had you slept with this guy?
No, I didn't. And it was a 1-bedroom apartment, my family member and, you know, his family, and then me and him. So it's not like we were in the middle, you know, in the living room sleeping together.
So you're saying it's your testimony that you weren't at this house with this man multiple times, as your own family member alerted
That
him.
doesn't like Michael told him, yeah.
This is a mess. You're just on a treadmill, running a race and never winning. There's no trust.
None at all.
Well, that's why you asked for a lie detector test.
Right.
Exactly.
And, you know, we have administered that test and we have the results. Would you like to hear the results?
Yes, Your Honor.
Jerome? Ms. Winters, you met with a licensed polygraph examiner.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Your Honor.
And you were asked the following questions. On the day Michael found a man in your bed, did you have sex with him? You said no.
Yes, Your Honor.
The lie detector determined you were being truthful.
Told you.
You were asked, have you had sexual intercourse with anyone other than Michael since the end of 2013? You said no. The lie detector determined you were being deceptive.
Now, that's not true.
You were asked, are you currently hiding a sexual or romantic relationship with another man from Michael? You said no.
Yes, Your Honor.
The lie detector determined you were being deceptive.
What?
Mr. Cawley, how does it feel to hear those results?
Some of the stuff I had gut feeling about that she was lying about, but I was in denial, but I'm really not too surprised for real.
Ms. Winters, it said you were being deceptive on more than one occasion. Is there something you'd like to say?
In the beginning of 2014, I did, you know, it did prolong a little after than I said it did, but that was the only thing that I can really think that I lied about. The whole lying about somebody now is a little different.
What's a little different?
Because, like I said, then we were having problems. Now we're not. So.
But point blank period, man, we made an agreement at that point.
Yeah, well, you also cheated on me 4 months ago, so that agreement kind of went out the window. So.
The bottom line is, after the agreement, you were still sleeping with somebody else.
Right, and that was because I know he was too, because I saw him, you know, he was writing girls on Facebook trying to find new friends, and you know what I mean? It just didn't feel real at the time.
You do seem kind of nonchalant, like
I do though,
you could take it or leave it.
I mean, maybe I don't show my emotion like I should, you know what I mean? But like at the end of the day, like I do think of my children, you know what I mean? Like whenever we go back and forth and we're arguing all the time, like that's not healthy for them either. Like I'd rather them have no father than be around me and him arguing all the time.
Look, we all grow in relationships. Sometimes we grow together, sometimes we grow apart. And I think that's what we have to determine here, whether you all are going to continue to try to grow together or if you're going to have to grow apart.
Right.
And most importantly, how we handle the child that could potentially be in the middle of this, Amani.
Right.
I have the paternity results for you. Are you ready for them?
Yes.
In the case of Winters versus Cawley, when it comes to 16-month-old Amani Cawley, it has been determined by this court, you are the father.
So that right there should prove to him I wasn't cheating, you know, around the time.
Well, it doesn't really prove that, Miss Winters. But it does prove that Amani is his biological child, and it relieves the doubt.
Right.
The arguing, the not knowing, we have to get this together, what you guys are doing right now.